everyone, and welcome back to another episode of our Chromebook Classroom. Today is going to be a very fun day of play because I am here with the one and only, the amazing Jill, who is going to help us enter the world of kindergarten with these teacher Chromebooks. Good morning, Jill. How are you?
I'm great, Trish. Good morning to you too. Like you mentioned, I'm Jill Morrison, and I'm the kindergarten programming consultant with the division, and I'm really excited to spend some time with you today.
And so I get excited when I start to think about these little minds, these little minds that are coming in, ready to learn, ready to set those foundations for those big ideas that we're going to, spend their whole little career in ECSD doing. And I think one of the things that you and I have talked about before is just the importance of that foundation of play, those physical spaces in the classroom. I know this is a topic so near and dear to your heart. And so tell me, how can we make sure, what is so important about play and about these spaces, the environment in a kindergarten classroom?
Well, we really look at the environment as the third teacher. And so when we want to nurture a relationship with between the child or children and the environment. And so we want to have the environment designed in a way that has resources and materials intentionally set up and accessible so that the children don't always have to go through an adult to explore, to tinker, to mess about, to inquire. So we define these areas of play, building a block center. Some people call it an atelier if they are more Reggio inspired. It's creative expression, whichever, doesn't matter the label. There's materials ready there for children to create with. We have writing centers, we have reading corners, we have beautiful sensory play. So whether that's playing with shaving cream and, rolling up your sleeves and being in the water table with bubbles, pouring and mixing, whether it's in science and discovery area of the room where you're pulling apart, you're figuring out what makes that pine cone stick together using magnifying glasses. And so we want that, just as we nurture relationships with children, educator and child, and we nurture the relationships between the community of learners in our class, child to child, we also need to nurture the relationship between child and environment. And so when our environment is planned for in an intentional way, it really helps support that investigation and inquiry and learning, and takes all of those core concepts from the program of studies, from the kindergarten program statement, and allows the children to go deeply into their learning. And then it allows you opportunities as the teacher to meet with children in various groupings or individually to check in and to work on specific things as well. And so we know that the environment is taking care of keeping the children engaged, and then it frees you up to have those moments where you can connect with, like I said, a group of learners or individual children, depending on what your intentionality and focus is.
That's so exciting. And what I love about what you're saying, when we want these defined areas of inquiry, this isn't about setting out, the kit of like, here's the materials and you're going to make this. Check. It's about providing a context, a place that they can build. We're not sure what, but we can give them some of those parameters. And that's what you've done here today. And here's what I'm so excited about, because in kindergarten, assessment is so different. It's not like I'm like, check, you built something 7 blocks higher. I can't just get an answer on the page. We really have to focus on the idea of capturing that process through documentation. And we know how important images, audio, video, text, just to be able to, how do we recreate that moment? Because the product at the end may or may not, be something that we can say about, but it's that journey along the way. And you have such an exciting tool for us to be able to use, because I know there's that question: teacher Chromebooks in a kindergarten classroom. Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, what does that look like? And so knowing that play is the work of children, it's not my own personal opinion. There's tons of bodies of research showing the significance and importance of play, and how, and we know with brain development, the greatest amount of brain development occurs from 0 to 5. So
Mm,
this is such an important time in the children's lives, and we have such an honor to be part of building these beautiful brains and beautiful pathways. And so we have an environment that's already set up with defined spaces of play. How do we have a window in? How do we capture this? And yeah, in the past, and we still have iPads, and those are beautiful too, but I really like the I really like the Chromebook because as a teacher, you have a device that can come with you and have
mm.
such multiple functions as well. So we brought the Chromebook in. I brought it in, sorry, to lots of different classrooms where I was playing and working in, and it actually just sets up really nicely. And I love the touch screen, and the children actually really loved interacting, and they got really into recording the videos, touching the screen, and taking
Wonderful.
photos. They actually, with a bit of modeling, they were able to take over, and you'll see here with building Bethlehem, I actually didn't take that photo. The little friend in the front, you can see his arm reaching. He
Yeah.
was pressing.
Pressing
He
that
arranged
space
his
bar.
peers. So
Wow.
you'll see that they've built, inspired by the Christmas story that they're learning about right now. And so they, in the block center, recreated Bethlehem in their version of what it would look like, through their imagination, which is beautiful. And so, yeah, he actually took that photo. I wasn't involved in
Well, this
capturing
is
that
so
specific
great.
photo.
And so we're going to take you to a tool called Book Creator. Now, we know that this is one of those amazing services that have been around for years. It used to just be an iPad app. There was this kind of idea that it was just for early learning. Today, we are using it in early learning context, but it's something that can be used in
Mm-hmm.
any subject. And we're thinking process. I'm still thinking of, grade 7 science, and I'm going to need to look at that process of documentation through their science labs. Same idea. How do we capture that with students? So you're going to take us to that Book Creator site, right, Jill, and just kind of show us
Yep.
this is such a great place. You sign in with your Google account, absolutely free. There is a paid version that we've never needed the paid version, to be perfectly honest, for what we're creating. But there's an amazing resource section full of ideas, right, for educators to be able to go to.
Yeah. So you'd click here, and just for loading purposes, I have that ready for us. So there's a pre-kindergarten and kindergarten section. There's sections for every grade, actually, but we'll
Yes.
zone in on pre-K and K right now. And so, yeah, you can scroll down, and there's lots of different possibilities, and examples that you
Oh,
can
wow.
see.
And these are created by real classrooms, just showing that
Mm-hmm.
potential. And what I love in here is that it's a blend of, yes, those analog materials, those creativity, tactile touch items. It's not about the kids totally only using tech. This is about using tech to support that pedagogy of play and capturing that learning and that expression. So I think this is so amazing. You can absolutely check out any of these books, but you have kicked off a book for us as an example, where you wanted to look at this documentation. So already you're sliding in beside our students. You've got that Chromebook there. They're curious. They're engaged. They're taking a photo. And we get this blank page. And so what's the possibility on a blank page that we can do inside of Book Creator?
Okay, so I'll just flip to a blank page for us. So as you see here, you can actually load the image right away, which makes it so seamless um, from capturing the moment working with children. You can do it live time. So this front page here, we just inserted the image, and then I wrote the title, Building Bethlehem, right in live time, because I know teachers are really busy. So if you
Yeah,
can find ways to do it
in
with
the
your
moment.
children
Yeah.
during, it's not going to be this, oh, I got to get to the Book Creator. It can be built live time, and it creates such a beautiful window later on for parents and families into their child's learning experiences in kindergarten. Also creates a beautiful moment when you're reflecting as a community of learner, because not all the kids go to all of the different centers for whatever
Right.
reason. And so we can provide a window in and show them these are the possibilities. These are the stories that can live in the block center. What story might you want to tell with the blocks? And so then that way they can grab ideas off one another and piggyback, especially if they haven't had a lot of exposure
Right.
to different materials. They just, I think, do better when they can see some possibilities, and it kind of gives them that comfort to go.
And
So
so if
you
we
can
click
use,
that plus button, what are the
yeah,
possibilities we've got? So that plus button, this is our whole menu. We can
yeah,
do our camera. Our camera will do
yep,
video and camera. So we're not having to use another device. We're not having to transfer photos, transfer videos. It's
oh,
saying an error right now because we're in Teams, but you can
yeah,
do video recording or still recording
yes,
right with that camera. I love that
absolutely,
you also, so we've got images. We also, if we hit that plus button, we know that we can still use our pen. We can ink on our touchscreen computers. We can use our text boxes if we want to be able to put in that text. So it's very friendly for that in the moment, being able to authentically do that. I also love that we can insert audio recording. So as a teacher, again, that in the moment feedback, I noticed Jill taking on this, asking about this, inquiring about this. So I can even have my voice as a teacher, or it can be a student voice talking about
mhm,
something they've done, right?
absolutely. And you can edit these images. You can make them bold. You can increase the size, and it is all touch screen. I mean, I know we're recording on Teams here, but with the Chromebook itself, you can manipulate it right
Yeah.
with your finger, and the children can help co-create this, which is really powerful. Because it also then allows you, although, well, they're reliving and reflecting and revisiting the work that they did, they can add new insights, or you can ask certain questions if you're trying
Yeah.
to discover a certain type of thinking that they were having, or concept. Do they have it through revisiting their work?
That's fantastic. And so I just need those two buttons, right? I need my plus button for what I want to
Yep,
put on the page. I use
that's right.
that inspector button to manipulate or change something about whatever I have selected. In this
Different
case, this is the page.
textures.
Oh, I love
Yep.
this.
Or you can
Wow.
make it more comic feeling if you want. Like, there's so many different aesthetics that can be added depending on what ambiance you want to create with that story.
You can even
So
personalize it for
there's
each child. You could have a page for
yep,
each child, really, right? And talking about their growth and learning with that particular project. That
absolutely.
is so neat. And so just like they do on the food channel where they pull the pie out of the oven, you actually created some authentic documentation. You did
Yeah.
this. This is not just us saying this. You went, you had this Chromebook, you're in the mix in kindergarten, building Bethlehem. This did not take you long to put together, did it?
No, no, honestly, it took me, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes. And that was because there was lots of questions of, Miss Jill, what about this? There's more discussion on colors
I
and
love
grading,
it.
but that's good. Shows their uniqueness and individuality. So that's good. And of course, kids really crave that one-on-one time, or that intimate, just a couple of their peers with their teacher. And so it really helps nurture those relationships as well too.
Well, and I
There's an
love that.
unintended consequence, like as an unintended intentional thing that's happening.
Yeah.
But yeah, you get to build those relationships with children too while you're doing it.
Well, and that's exactly, we want the technology to break down those barriers, because it's
Mm-hmm.
like that is allowing you to capture it. It's in the moment. You don't need multiple devices. You're not having to convert and bring things in later. And I love your example because you've shown everything we can do.
Yeah.
You can take that selfie, you can take that picture, you can record that video. You've recorded audio right there on the page. You've used some shapes with some speech bubbles. You've got images. You've got text, and I just think it shows the powerful nature of this tool, because in kindergarten I can't give that an 80%, right? We're capturing
No,
that moment. So
no, no. And they're not, and I mean, but parents want to know. So they have such zest and care, and they just really such an invested interest in, obviously, their children and their child. And so they want to know, what does it look
yeah,
like? What does it look like when my child's in kindergarten? What are the conversations they're having? So this is such an organic way to really give that window to families to capture even that language sample in time. Like, if
yeah,
we're looking at oral language development of the child, they could be an English language learner, and so maybe you want to capture an oral language sample to see how they're acquiring the English language and vocabulary as the year progresses. And what a beautiful way to capture that and to revisit as well as an educator.
I love
think
that.
there's multiple purposes that can come from this, and I just really love. I think I love the ease of not having to download, transfer. Right, that can
Yeah.
be a little clunky.
Yeah.
I liked that I could do everything just right then and there, and it was done. It made it really, really easy just sitting with the group of
I love
children,
this.
and it was done. And they really, what happened too was they were like, I have a story to tell.
Oh.
Is it you? And so what happens is then other children see this happening, and they get really excited and motivated to want to share their story. So what story do they have in the sand table that they want to share? What story are they acting out in their mind's eye, or their script that is in their imagination in the house center, for example?
I love
and
that.
so you can capture those stories, and it makes them really motivated to want to share too.
Oh, this has been so fantastic. I hope teachers out there, whether you are one of our amazing early learning educators, or even if you're teaching other grades, we all have process that we want to be able to capture, that in the moment learning, slide beside our students and really be able to get beyond just that end result or that end mark. So thank you so much, Jill, for being here with us to have some fun, to show us how we can infuse technology to make teachers' lives easier, not just another add-on for you, but something to truly make that a beautiful daily experience with you and your students. So thank you for being here. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.
See you.